How is it going, guys? I hope you guys had a nice weekend. I didn't because I was at work. and yeah, I was just freaking yeah, I'm still doing some TA here because I'm behind on everything because I've worked so hard. But this is my last week of work in this decade. After that, I'm going to be off for 2 weeks off the grid, off the internet, out in the Australian bush, chasing kangaroos and fishing crabs and hunting octopuses and all kinds of stuff. And I'll be back in the new year. Just for you guys' information, yeah, this is the last week that I'm gonna be online this year, this decade, and then I'll see you guys in the new year. But let's finish it strong. I have quite a list. General market outlook. At the moment, we are gapping up decent. Like we're holding the upper Celt here in the market. We have like a previous high. We are like with the Fibonacci extension, we're almost there here. Like if you break up, I think that 31.97.75 could be a decent target. In general, looks bullish, but to me, I am not going to put any more long delta on. I am slightly long delta at the moment, which is slowly going to diminish throughout the week if we move higher. Definitely also, like I had like a bunch of far out of the money puts in UVXY that are now decent value, especially since on Friday, UVXY or all the volatility stuff sold off hard. So I'm going to take all of that stuff off today, or at least like 75% or something like that, because especially like we're capping lower again today. So that's going to be a decent profit. UVXY, VXX, they're my largest winners of the year. Honestly, guys, I have to go and do like a lesson about how I trade this stuff because it's such a good product to trade if you trade it with like decent risk management. Something that can really give like some like a bit of like like that consistent income that everyone is talking about. So yeah, at some point I'm definitely going to go over this for you guys, so you guys can see what exactly I'm doing in there. But anyway, let's go over the list. In general, I don't have I don't want to buy anything that's breaking out right now. Stuff that's, there's lots of semiconductors, there's some, or even stuff like Apple and stuff like that that's breaking out, but I want this to pull back before I go along that stuff. So what I have on the list here first is a bunch of news plays and then some stuff that might be in play in either direction. So let's look at AMRN first. I sent you guys in chat the news on this one. I think at some point on the weekend. So they have developed this drug that seems like really like seems to cure or at least treat like some of the systemic health issues that you guys have in the US. And that drug has just been licensed or something like that. So this stock is gapping up. What's that? 27, 5 points. That's almost 20%, a bit less, 15% perhaps. So decent gap up on these news. I think this, when we look back, there was news a few last year at some point. Where that fish oil, I don't know if this is the same drug, that fish oil drug, where they had like the news on that and see how this thing can run if it wants to. So I would definitely have this one. I'm gonna like buy some like 20-day out calls right off the open, and then if this holds and like on a pullback, retest some level, like once the Celts have caught up or something like that, I am going to try and long more out of this. But just look, like really positive news. Factor one, market very strong. Factor two, breaking out of a like consolidation that it's been going on for a year, for like over a year now. So three factors that really play into this long bias here on this stock, that I think could be like a decent trade idea for towards the end, like for the next few weeks. Let me look at the options real quick, just to make sure they're not too spready. They do look quite spready here, but of course the whole chain is out of whack at the moment. If you want to trade them, make sure you get a good price. Wait for like don't place any trades before the open, and just wait until the spread has tightened a little bit. There's enough meat on this move if this gets going, so you better make sure you get like a decent price. Put on like there's two kinds of spreads that I'm talking about sometimes. One is the spread in the options chain, which is this stuff here. Like the spread is the bid and ask spread that I'm talking about, which is really wide here, but it's like the weekend, right? That's the one spread that I'm talking about. But what the other kind of spread that I'm talking about usually is like a strategy, a option strategy. So you might want to trade this with like a debit or a credit spread. So a debit spread, you buy a call, you sell a call further out of the money, or you sell a put and you buy a put further out of the money, depending on whether you want to buy a debit or sell a credit. So that's like the idea here. I think this is a really nice case. Just wait for a good entry, get a good price, and don't just jump in right away. On the other hand, the other direction is BA. The news is that they are not going to continue with the 737 MAX production because of all the software issues that they had, as far as I know. So cutting or halting production, which is bad, freaking bad. So we see like it's gapping down right into this 331 level, support level here. If this breaks, this has to go all the way down to 300. And I think these, like, with honestly, I mean, I'm not a fundamental trader, or I don't know enough about fundamentals, but to me, this is really bad. Like loss in margins, loss in like tons of investment that they have to write off now. So like orders that can't be fulfilled, all this kind of stuff. I think this is really freaking negative. So I think under 330, and then under 324, and then under 319.55. Boy, these are the levels that I would be watching here, and I think this could get like, I think medium term, like could get ugly. So yeah, that's definitely one to look at as well. But on the other hand, this stock has also saved itself a lot recently. So like don't size in until like under 320. Say we break under 320 and we come back and retest and we fail in the next few weeks. That's when I would probably put on like a decent sized short at least until like that 310 area, and then possibly 300 or even 290. And like depending on how the company handles this whole fiasco, who knows where this is gonna go. But on the other hand, if they manage to save themselves well, they might get back into this range or stay in this range that they've been in for 2 years now. So just stay safe, but definitely very negative news. Now more technical plays. Netflix rejected the 14, rejected the 30. Market is bullish, and it's gapping up here. But in general, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we also broke. No, we're not breaking the trend line yet. So just technically, from like a price action kind of point of view, this looks fairly bearish to me. just something to keep in mind in case and it's been underperforming compared to the market, like completely. So if the market starts getting weak, which eventually it will, this might be something to look at for a pullback into like the 260 area, or perhaps even like the 240 area if it really wants to go all the way back to the lows from 2018. Next one, Walmart. I've been mentioning this one a few weeks ago. It's now broken this downtrend. It broke over that 120 level. I really like this stock. It's been looking really, really nice. And if this can get over that 120.70 level and perhaps break over that upper Celt, I could absolutely see this make another move higher and retest those previous highs. Also, see how it's like testing like that upper end of this trend line here and just does not sell off. It's just really strong. It's been holding, barely had any impact when the market sold off really hard the last week. So yeah, definitely one to keep in mind. And now, good old Wayfair that I've been talking to you guys about for so long now. It's finally looking like it might really break out. The volume is not great. But with the market bullish and this making higher lows, and holding above the level of this range that it's been trading in since beginning of November, I think that we might have at least like 95 in the cards in the next few days. So watch out for this one. If the market stays strong, this breaks the high from Friday. This is looking very nice in my opinion. Facebook. This is the pullback is probably a little bit too harsh, but I think this is one to keep on watch for a long now here. It's held the lower Celt. It's right at the support area. The market is strong. I don't know if there might have been news related, so perhaps do some due diligence here. I don't remember. Maybe it wants to retest like this, the lower end of that trend line that we've had since 2018, end of 2018. So perhaps it wants to retest the 190, but this is one to keep on watch to slowly start looking for at least a short-term long. SQ, I really like this one as well. I think I've explained this to you guys before. What I really like is a stock that makes like new lows, but is in a fair bit of an uptrend. The only thing that I don't like is that it's still under the 200 MA. But this has started a new kind of uptrend here. It's broken over this resistance that we've had before, retesting it now. If this holds, puts in like some kind of like indecision candle or reversal candle, something that looks like this. I think it's called a hammer, or a doji. Then this might be worth longing. Not something to jump in right away, but definitely something to look at. Next one, Twilio. Also nothing to jump in right away, but I really like now how this held the lower Celt. Depending, like it rejected the 14 here, but I think with the strong market and it's now kind of holding higher lows. If this can get over the 100 again, this is gonna be big time on my watch for a move back into the 110s or even 120s. Next one, MA. Broke out. I mean, I'm just bringing this up because this has been so strong. If this wants to keep going, this might be a candidate to watch for like a retest of the upper Celt and the breakout level. Something like what we see here, like a retest in the next few days after the breakup, and then a push higher. Or it could do something like what it did here, and just keep pushing. Just might be worth day trading, depending, like if it shows like proper volume at the open or in pre-market, might be something to look at. Also look at this nice consolidation and hold of a higher level pattern here. Like it breaks over the breakout level, tests it, higher low, test the level, tests the pre-market level, and then keeps going higher. So this is like something that you could look out for intraday, like these kind of like consolidations higher. Then again, look, comes back, tests the previous level and holds here twice and heads higher. So these are the things you can look out for intraday. Next one, Nvidia. This is like the kind of reversal candle, the opposite of what I was just talking about for in Twilio or where was it, SQ, for like a long entry. This is kind of the reversal candle for a short entry, in my opinion, especially because this had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row, right into a resistance, not the strongest resistance, but what I see here is like it closed that gap from what's that, end of October 2018, close that gap now. That usually is a bit of resistance, pretty decent volume, which can show like some kind of exhaustion. It's gapping up now, so be careful, but I think this might be a decent short case, or at least say like for like a weekly or a bi-weekly iron condor or some kind of play like that. Next one, Amazon, consolidating, making higher lows, holding that 1736.40 quite well. Now let's see, it held the 14, closed slightly under the middle Celt. Volume slightly increasing again. After the sell-off, I would be looking for like some kind of indication that this wants to hold here at this 1760 kind of level for a retest of the upper Celt in the next few days or weeks. McDonald's, remember how I've been mentioning this wedge pattern, I think it's called, and now it's broken up out of this and is now gapping up over the upper Celt into the 198 level. So what we want to see here is a retest of the upper Celt and then a breakout of 198. That would be absolutely lovely for this stock to see the 200 again very soon. Next one, Spotify. I've been looking at this one for a while as well. It's now consolidating higher over the 14, over all these levels, right over this 46.25 kind of level as well. It's attempted to break the trend lines, attempted to break the upper Celt. It hasn't managed just yet, but it's making higher lows. So depending which direction this this breaks today or tomorrow, we might see either a retest of the middle Celt, perhaps even the 142, 140 level for it to take another breather before it breaks out. Or if this breaks out, see, it's not really showing any like it's gapping up slightly, but if this breaks out over the 148, 149 level, this has the previous highs as the next target. So definitely something to keep in mind as well. UNH, I've been long this for a few days last week, and now today I'm going to take this off because we are gapping higher and I don't want to overstay my welcome. I'm going to take my profits when I can. It's been a freaking great trade. And this just a reversal candle, like the volume is increasing on like a move that kind of resembles a parabolic. It's had 1, 2, 3, 4 green days in a row. So I'm going to take my profits here and going to try to reload when we get like a pullback. Next one, it's quite a list today. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff on watch. Okta, I really like how this pulled back here and is now testing the 200 SMA, also the 112 level right below. We also have like this kind of level here at 113, which it held really nicely and came back over the middle Celt. So what we want to see here is a hold of the middle Celt, and then hopefully we see like a like this kind of stair step pattern back up. Definitely, like I think this might be a really nice spot to start to initiate a long position, and then if you see confirmations over 120, you could add a little bit more and then just let it go as far as it wants to go. Autodesk. I've been short, I think since the day after earnings or something like that. I've been short this. I have not, see, that's the thing. I did not cover on this gap down. And now, because I kind of thought, oh yeah, it's gapping down, it's right at trend line, this is going to trend and break the trend line and get back into the Celt, but it didn't yet. I am still thinking that this is not going to go just yet. I think after a move like this, that's so straight up, and this big exhaustion, now we've had like a breakout attempt here, attacked that high, just, you know, like what, 20 cents higher, and came all the way back. I would at least think that this is consolidating for a few more days. So perhaps like a weekly or bi-weekly iron condor might be here a option as well. On the other hand, this is probably having a very low IV rank. Let me just see. If you don't know what an IV rank is, it's basically the average of the implied volatility measured against, like, the current implied volatility measured against the 252-day average of the implied volatility. So that gives me like, okay, yeah, like IV rank is 7%. That's way too low. So actually what that tells me, like, I'm not going to sell premium. If the IV rank is so low, I'm going to buy premium. But what this tells me is that we are due for some volatility, and volatility is created when a stock sells off. So that is kind of confirming my case that this might see like a retest of at least 172 or perhaps even 168 kind of levels before this goes back higher. Costco. I have this one in here because it might look bearish, but earnings were actually quite good. Like, it wasn't stellar, but they were quite good. So if this wants to sell off more, I'm going to wait for the 285 level, but then I am definitely going to be a bull on this again. Costco is a great company, and I think they are not going to find like a hard sell-off. So basically, to me, the lower the better for this one. Just if you go after the Celt strategy, of course, like, it held underneath the lower Celt here. So if we retest that 292.75 level and then sell off, perhaps like the daily target could be the low, that previous low, 289.10, 289 kind of level, and then depending, like how the market's going to do, maybe 285. But on the other hand, if this reclaims the 292 and holds for a day, this might also be a nice long back into the 300. Now, I'm pointing this out because I had this one on the watch list here. I actually went long on Thursday, and it's amazing sometimes how technical analysis and this strategy that we are all trading works. It's just nice to see sometimes how things just work. Like, it's hard to explain, but I feel like we are having like a really nice we are finding a really nice system that we are trading here. We have found a really nice system that, like, I did not use Kells before I met ATG, and this has really transformed my trading and given it way more consistency compared to what I've been doing like before we met. So here you see what this can do. And the last one is a ETF that I want to show you guys. It's the housing ETF. Wait, come on. Here you go. Or real estate. IYR. See how this sells off and swings back up. Sells off, swings back. It does this all the time. And now here, what we have, I went long here on Friday because we didn't just sell off for 3 days. We sold off more and then tested, like, see what's the low here. Low is 89.92. 200 SMA is 89.91. So almost to the penny. It kissed that SMA and then came all the way back up. So I went long here just for like a 2-3 day swing. That might be something that you guys could look at too today, just for like a quick swing back into the 92.50 level, and then like just in and out really quick, just a few days. But just it doesn't for once it wasn't just selling off into like a like arbitrary level here. I mean, we also had like the 89.80 level here, but it also sold off into the 200 SMA, which usually provides quite a bit of support as well. So this is definitely a nice long case for me as well. All right, guys, this was the watch list for today. Please like the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications when we upload something new. We have a lot for you guys in store next year. Let's finish this decade strong and then make it like an even better 2020 and the third decade of this millennium, make it even better. I really like what we have going in our chat. I keep saying it, but it's really nice to see you guys' progress. It's become so much more professional. So let's continue like that. And I'll see you guys probably at the close. And yeah, good luck, guys.